In this lesson, I'm going to create a login method. The purpose of this method is to get the access token. So let's get started. First of all, we need to create a method. So I'm going to add a method here and name it login. Now just for a few seconds, I'm going to switch back to the Postman. And you can see that in order to call this login endpoint, we need to send the email and password along with this request. So let's add two parameters of string type inside this login method. The first is email and the second is password. Now just create a new instance of login model class. And let's assign these parameters to the properties of login model class. The rest of the code is almost similar to the register user method. So I'm going to copy these lines of code and then paste it inside this login method. Alright, now here we need to change few things. The first is just pass this login model object here in the serialize method. Then we need to change the URL. So let's copy your API URL for login endpoint and then paste it here. Alright, use the async keyword and make the return type of this method to task of bool, because this method will return some boolean value. Now the interesting thing starts from here. So far this method is just like this register user method. But if we move to the Postman and send the request to this login endpoint, then we will get the access token and the following kind of JSON data in the response body. So in order to use this JSON, we need to deserialize it. Let me switch back to the Wheel Studio. And there, I'm going to use this response variable with await keyword. And along with that, I'm going to call this content property and then use this read as string async method. Well, this line will read the data that comes in the response body. Alright, I'm going to put this in a variable and name it JSON result. Now we need to convert this JSON into C# objects. And for this purpose, let's use this JSON convert.deserialize object. Then we'll use this class that is token. And we will put this JSON result here. Well, this whole line means that it will deserialize the JSON result according to the token class properties. Alright, now let's store this in a variable that is result. With this result, we can access all the properties of token class. As you remember that, earlier in this course, we have used the Xamarin Essential Preferences. And we'll use the Xamarin Essential Preferences to store the access token and the token expiration time with this result. As we move forward in this course, then I will explain you how to store the token expiration time and how to verify whether the token is valid or expired. But for now, let's store the access token via Xamarin Essentials. So let's use preferences, then add the namespace for this preferences class. Now with this preferences, let's call this set function. And this set function will take the key as well as the value. Let's name our key to access token. And then in the value, let's use this result and then pick the access token. Well, this line will save the access token in the preferences or isolated storage of the application. Similarly, let's use the user ID in the preferences. We name our key to user ID and then in the value, we will use this result and pick the user ID. Now we will store the username, and for this we will name our key to username, and then we will use this result and pick the username property. Alright, as we move forward in this course, I will show you how to set the expiration time of the token. So far we have added the login method. Now let's continue our work in the next lesson.